Good evening, everyone. Glad to see a few people out there. Hope everybody's having a good pre-New Year's Eve evening. Just figured I'd come on and chit chat, give everybody a place to come and hang out for a little bit and see what's going on. Might have some people come up. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if anybody feels up to it or not, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hello to everybody. April and Auntie, Anchor, Jeannie DB, 52. Nancy, Grammy Heather, Psycho Granny, Maureen and Judy. Glad everybody's here. Kyle, Stony Baloney, Tricky. Not a whole lot exciting going on our end, at least. Just a couple things I guess I want to talk about, but nothing really crazy. I'm just trying to figure something out here real quick. A little distracted, but it's weird. All right. Anyhow, how's everybody doing? What am I missing? Maureen's been bad. Scott blocked you. Well, damn it, Maureen. Don't be bad. I don't know. I can't say whether he blocked you or not. Could have been him or anybody else. Could have been friendly fire. Could have been one of those moments in time. Hard to say these days. When you're dealing with all the hectic craziness and stuff out there, you never know. I did put subscribers only on here just because I figured, if anybody that's not subscribed wants to come in and have something to say, then they can sub up and wait for 20 minutes and we'll welcome you in with open arms. You might get that 2025 door in the ass on the way out, but you never know. And Auntie, I saw your comment about the whole leaving room stuff. I'm not even going there, just so you know. I'm not touching that. But White Snake, how's it going? Hope you guys having a good day out there. We're cold here. It's 13 degrees right now. At least that's what the local service says. I don't know what the real temperature is, but I know the wind is just, it makes it damn cold. I know that. Yesterday was really windy, and tonight not as bad, but still breezy. A lot of blowing snow, drifting, and all that stuff. Where you're in White Snake's ears ringing, KK has been begging for attention for hours. And that doesn't surprise me at all, Tricky Will. I think everybody in the whole community knows what his content is. I mean, we also know he has no content unless he's talking about, any one of us. But, when I take over, might have to change that. So I don't know where this whole takeover thing's coming from, but I'm enjoying it. it gets crazier by the minute. So anyhow, something I wanted to talk about real quick. I'll just go through it and kind of get that out of the way and get my vocal cords working again and all that stuff. Drink some coffee. I promise you won't hear me slurping coffee or anything on here, just because I don't drink coffee that way. One other side note, just before I even get into this, just got a notification just to let you guys know in case anything changes on the appearance of things. But StreamYard was merged in with their parent company, and that company is called Bending Spoons US. So if you see anything about Bending Spoons, it's StreamYard. Oh no. Let me get out of here. Man, I almost ended the stream. Trying to close a little box and it's terrorizing me. Anyhow, yeah, I just want to let you know that. I just got a thing. I think when I signed into StreamYard, I got it, but I don't know if they're changing the name, for public, or how it's going to change anything at all. Probably nothing, but just I'd let you know, just in case you see it, you'll know what it is. Earlier today, I caught a little bit of a live stream that was going on, and I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but there's some, I don't know what it is, propaganda thing or hack or something going on where they're tying bad childcare in Minnesota to Governor Walz, and they did something where some of these places that are on a violation list or identified as bad centers or something, when you click on the call button on their website, it goes to a phone line that says, "Thank you for calling, Governor Walz's office, and what can we do for you," and what have you. So you pretty much know it's just some kind of a slam campaign to go after him. And I think there was, Genie DB, I think you're right. I think there was locations in different areas, but of course that, they're going to focus on Minnesota, no matter what's going on, around them or anything else. That's just one of the kind of reach in and grab whatever you want out of a hat and throw it out there, and let's all just talk about it and tear somebody up over it. And that's what it feels like to me. I don't know much more about it, but I did catch a live this afternoon talking about it. And I found it interesting that somebody takes the time to do a live stream to talk about daycare centers in a state that they don't even live in. Now, I don't know if that person might have family there or kids or grandkids or anything. That's possible, I guess. I kind of don't think that's the case, but it's very possible. But I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, how about if we take a look at another state instead of just Minnesota? So I threw a bunch of names of states in a hat and pulled one out, and it landed on Indiana. Oddly enough, it was a nice surprise. But I went through and I tried to find some information about daycare, facilities and childcare facilities in Indiana. And the first thing I found out is that Indiana doesn't track childcare facilities with violations. They don't comprise a list for the public to be able to go in and see, just in a simple form, what daycare centers in their area might be on that list, or just any of the ones to avoid, or if you want to help family out somewhere else, that you can look them up. You have to look them all up individually. So I guess you got to figure out what's in your area, or whatever's in the area you want to search, and then you got to pick those names out, and you got to search each one by itself. And I said, nope, not doing that. So the next best thing to find out what's going on with childcare facilities are local newspapers. So I've always been able to depend on that, and they usually check out. They're held to a little bit different account and standard by their peers, their neighbors. When these people are local, they have to answer, a lot of times to the people that are, driving past them every day or working next to them every day. So you can usually depend on local papers to give good information. It's still a good media source, and it's kind of a dying art these days, it seems, but they're out there and they do okay. So I found an article from a little over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that, in Indiana. It was a local paper in a city of 80,000 people in Indiana, which is, it's a decent sized city. It's not, it's not a major metro area. It's a college town and, has a football team, what have you. But 80,000 is a pretty good number, bigger than most cities around the country, but a lot smaller than the big cities. So take that into consideration as far as the information goes. But 2.5 years ago in this city in Indiana, there were 24 facilities in that area that had experienced or been issued violations. And with childcare facilities, they break it down pretty much across the country. It's kind of a standard. There is some form of standard out there, I guess, as loose as it is. They break it down into critical violations and then total violations. And the total violations are violations like, stuff that's not the way it's supposed to be, but it's not a direct and imminent harm to the children. They're just doing something wrong. They didn't clean up a room, or, had a cracked window, or something like that. But still, if you're going to entrust your kids or grandkids or otherwise to these places, you should at least expect them to do it right. So that's where the violation numbers come from. Critical violations are definitely things that need to be addressed immediately. Should never be let go, because these are things that can put your kids in harm's way. Safety equipment, things like that. So out of the 24 facilities in this city in Indiana, there were 58 critical violations among those 24 facilities. The highest one had 13 critical violations. Another one had 7, another one had 6, and then goes down from there. There were some that had no critical violations. Crazy part is the total violations. For 24 facilities, there were 280 total violations at 24 facilities. 280. Did I mention this is in Indiana? If I didn't, this is in Indiana 2.5 years ago. 280 violations. There were 3 facilities that had complaints lodged against them. And I don't know, they didn't break it down, but I'm assuming that complaints against the childcare facility would probably come from the parents or guardian or grandparents, something like that. Of those 3, there were no actions taken against them. Each had inspections, but nothing happened. So just wanted to throw that out there, just because
it's part of the statistic, but not necessarily a big factor, because it could be just a disgruntled parent, or somebody not getting along and doing something stupid by calling in on them. We know what that's all about now, don't we? Pretty familiar there. Now we come to what is, to me, and apparently this person that I was watching today on the live, one of the most critical things in all of this, of the 58 critical violations and the 280 total violations, is what was done about it. What kind of enforcement tactics? Are you trying to bore us to death? Yes, I'm trying to bore you to death. Are you bored, Jay Chucky? If so, I've done my job. Anyhow, out of all those violations, what did they do? What kind of enforcement actions were taken to make sure that the kids are safe in Indiana? So concerned citizens don't have to worry about it. Anybody want to take a guess on how many enforcement actions came of 280 violations in 24 facilities? It wasn't zero, I can tell you that. That's too easy of an answer, Corn. Come on now. I'd have changed it even if it was zero. No, I didn't change anything. 5 enforcement actions. 5. Out of 280 violations, 58 of those violations placing children's safety and welfare at risk. 5 enforcement actions. Now, if I recall from that live earlier today, that was a big deal. They're not doing anything to protect your children. And they made a big push about that. And here's the kicker to all that. And if you're listening, I'm glad you are. See, because that is what's important. What's important is people paying attention when they have kids in childcare, or when they have grandkids in a particular childcare, that people do pay attention to that stuff. I know I did. When my kids were young, I was very involved with where they were. Period. It just wasn't even a thought process. It was just an automatic thing. And that's the way it should be. But here's my gripe about the entire positioning of this. It's pretty fucking pathetic to use children's welfare as a political bickering session, because that's all it is. If it weren't connected to the whole phone number to the governor's office and what have you, and blue states and red states and all that stuff, if there was no connection there, I would praise anybody talking about it. But that's not what this is about. I think people need to pay more attention to this stuff, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what social class you're from or otherwise. I'm not going to name all the conditions that could be placed out there, but everybody should always pay attention to stuff for the kids. And it sure as hell should never be politicized. Because see, when you politicize it, you lose sight of what you're doing. And you also open up yourself to questions. And I'll just throw one question out there from me. Why all of a sudden are daycare centers violations in Minnesota important to you, when you've got a city in your fucking state of 80,000 people with 58 critical violations, 280 total violations, and literally nothing done about it? Why isn't that at the top of your list in your own state? 2.5 years. you might want to stop and think about that. You know, you really might want to stop and think about it, because it seems to me that would be a little more important than throwing political jabs out there and using kids to do it. Fuck anybody's doing that. That's all I can say. Shows your caliber. So anyhow, that's one thing I really wanted to talk about, as far as any type of subject or otherwise. All the other crazy stuff going on around us and around the world and everything else, we can talk about it. We can not talk about it. I don't want anybody, being too dramatic in here. I don't want anybody getting real insulting in here. And I hope that's as specific and as generic as I need to say that. I don't know what all's going on out there these days within the whole anti-protesting community and all that. I just figure if you're talking about me, you're not talking about somebody else. So just have at it, because I'm enjoying the hell out of this whole narrative of me taking over and all this other crap. I find humor in it. You're not very good at it, but I find it funny. But like I said before, if there's anybody I have contact with that wants to come up, I can shoot you a link. You can come up and talk and hang out and whatever else, or not. It doesn't really matter. I think either way it would be fun. Wow, what happened to that?
It restarted.
Well, that sucks. I had this up on the TV, and the TV just literally restarted by itself. It's already turned off. Anyhow, yeah, Judy, I laugh my ass off about it too. I think it's really funny, especially when I'm starting to see videos come out about it and shorts and people talking about it here and there and trying to make a big deal of it. It's just, by the day gets more nonsensical and hilarious and irrelevant and all that. But like I said, if you're talking about me, you're not talking about somebody else. I'd prefer all of you talk about me. Everybody that's outside this chat right now that's listening, and I'm not going to name a single name, but y'all know who you are. You want to talk about somebody, talk about me. I'm cool with that. Not a problem. But, and then the other big thing, there's a couple things that I know people have expressed to me, but measles is back. That's a whole crazy subject that people that are against the vaccines for measles obviously didn't have measles when they were younger. Otherwise, they'd realize that it is not something you want your kids to go through, or your siblings or otherwise. It's a pretty demanding disease to go through. And it can mess up a lot of people's lives and hurt kids pretty bad. And it just blows my mind that people are okay with letting that happen. I mean, in where I'm at, the next county down from us, south of us, was like the jump off point for measles in Wisconsin. I think they had 19 or 29 cases or something. I don't know. I hope the parents that are going through watching their kids with measles right now will speak up. And again, I don't care political affiliations. Again, this is about the kids, and even some adults. We feel a little different in this house when it comes to stuff like that because of what it can do. But I'll just focus it on the kids, and I sure as hell wouldn't want my kid to go through what I went through. Because I had the 9-day measles, the German measles, and it was brutal. I mean, it was for especially for a kid, it was hellacious. And 9 days as a kid to be that sick, I don't wish that on any kid anywhere. So if they get it figured out how to get that back under control, it shouldn't be here now, and it's a ludicrous thing that it is. But I hope more people step up and be heard that we just can't have that. So, and then the other thing, can you believe it's almost 2026? That blows my mind. It really does. They say the older you get, the faster the clock runs, and I can tell you now that. I mean, my mom's in her 90s. I can't even imagine. She must like blink and the day's over. Just crazy how fast it goes. But we keep it going. Yeah, German measles around pregnant women. Yeah, absolutely. People with autoimmune diseases, especially because what they're saying now, just to let you guys know, I don't know if you've seen this or heard it, and I haven't verified it completely. Lisa's been looking into a lot of this because it's a pretty serious thing that we try to pay attention to here. But they're saying that even if you were vaccinated for measles when you were young, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s now, 50s and 60s, 40, late 40s and all, and you were vaccinated for measles, those vaccines apparently are not good. They don't give you any protection. Like I said, I'm putting this out there with a condition that, again, I have not completely verified all this, so take it with a grain of salt as far as what I'm saying. Just I hope it prompts people to look into it more, so they're more knowledgeable about what's going on, what they might face. But the dangers of measles, it's not just, you don't just get some bumps on your skin and lay there for a while and then it goes away. It has a lot of really dangerous side effects and symptoms that some people don't recover well from or recover at all. And especially when you're talking about different categories, pregnant women, and like I said, autoimmune disease and others. So I think it's an important thing for this country to start paying attention to, is something like that. It's not speculation. It's not hyperbole about measles. Measles is here now. It's running around the country, and I sure hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't really take off, become endemic or anything else. We don't need that. We had it licked, and now here it is. As of September 12th, 2025, Wisconsin reported a total of 36 confirmed measles cases. Yeah, like I said, 19 of them are in my neighboring county. And at the time when they were reported in that county, they were the only ones in the state. I don't remember. I think it was probably a month and a half ago, give or take. Maybe 2 months ago, it was 19, and now it's 36 in the state. So it's basically doubled in 2 months. Hope it doesn't double again in another 2 months. But that's what measles does. As do other diseases, but the one that's at hand right now, especially that has potential to blow up on our faces, is measles. GM flower shingles is no joke. I hear I got shot. I can tell you now, I have not had it. Oddly enough, my daughter had it when she was how old? 11, 12? 11 or 12, she got shingles, which I'd never heard of. I didn't know young kids, or especially kids, but even younger adults, I didn't realize shingles would come out at that age, that early in life. Everybody has chickenpox, not everybody, but all the people that had chickenpox, just know that if you had chickenpox, you can have shingles. I have not had it. Like I said, I watched my daughter go through it. I learned a hell of a lot about it at that time because it got real personal, real fast. But I have also been around other people that have had it. A good friend of ours, an older gentleman, he got shingles, and it was up in his upper body, across his chest and up around his neck and stuff. But the worst part was it continued up into his face and his scalp, which also affected one of his eyes. And if you've never seen a pretty badass grown man scream because something hurt so bad, that was an eye opener for me. What it was doing to his face and his eyelid, it was torture just to watch, let alone I can't even imagine what it was like to go through it. So yeah, that's a pretty serious thing too. And like I said, kids can get it, and I didn't know that at all until my daughter got it, and that was a big shocker. So yeah, it feels like generic health watch on David B's YouTube tonight. I'm not a doctor. I am not a health professional. I'm not giving any legal advice. Fuck you if you think I am. Just throwing it out there, trying to get people to talk about it. Another good shot is for pneumonia. My lifetime had pneumonia 9 times, collapsed lung, grew up bronchitis all the time. Haven't had even a bad cold in over 23 years. Knock on wood. I agree with you on the pneumonia because 3 years ago, how long ago did you have pneumonia? 3 years ago? Lisa had pneumonia, and it got ugly. And that's why we're so cautious about things around her, as far as me bringing something home to her, or the kids coming in the house and bringing something in. We're real cautious about that all the time because of what we went through with pneumonia. But the pneumonia shots and the flu shots, crazy part, kids die from the flu. I mean, think about that. With all the stuff out there and all the stuff that kids go through growing up and parents go through raising kids, the stuff that we can prevent, let's prevent it for these kids. I can't even imagine what it would be like to say, yeah, my kid had the flu, and then a week later, my kid died from the flu. I had no way I could wrap my brain around that. So anyhow, all right, let's get off the doom and gloom. Help the kids, keep them safe, keep them healthy. That's all we got to do. We got a new year coming up. Pay attention to it. Be happy with it. Anybody doing anything crazy for New Year's? Any New Year's traditions? I know there's some people in New York City that are probably getting ready to freeze their asses off. It's in the teens up there right now, so I don't know why anybody would want to go and stand in that for hours on end and all the craziness of that. But I mean, that'd be worse than going out in the hunting stand when it's 15 or 20 degrees, 15 degrees or 10 degrees. To me, that'd be worse. At least in a hunting stand, a deer stand, whatever, you suffer through it on your own and you deal with it however you want to. But there, geez, that's got to be rough. Anyhow, if like I said, if anybody wants to come up here, shoot me a text or put it in the chat, and I can send you a link in the chat, or not in chat, in text. I'm not quite to the point of putting the link in the chat yet, and I think you guys understand why. I don't want to go through the headache until I have a couple things in place to safeguard the craziness and the stupidity of what some people pull. I'm just not going to do that. But at some point in the very near future, I hope to have that taken care of. And I hope that a lot of you guys, if not all of you guys, take advantage of the opportunity to come up and really talk instead of just chatting. It's just such a neat vibe to be able to hear from all you guys in chat. And get it ready on your terms. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a real, I'm not a big stickler for everybody behaving all the time and, yada, yada, yada. But I am a stickler for people being respectful, and people crossing the line just doesn't work for me. People accuse me of porn bombing sites, which is the biggest damn joke I've ever heard. But anybody that's doing that crap doesn't need to be on my channel. That's for sure. And people can think what they want, but we're having a voice clone. Yeah, maybe I'll take you up on it. Yeah, absolutely, Patty. Do whatever you gotta do. And as far as cameras and stuff too, just so you know, everybody, if you're gonna come up on my channel for a panel, if you've never done it before, how that works is you click the link, you go in, you allow the camera and mic access, so it can recognize it. And then the next step is when you go into the studio, you have an opportunity to turn your camera off at that point. When you go into the studio, the person running the channel that's hosting the panel, the StreamYard or whatever it is, especially on StreamYard, they can see you on your camera. And the one requirement I will definitely have is when you come into the studio, have your camera on, because I want to see who I'm dealing with. I want to make sure it's a human being, and we may have something set up where, for one person, I'll say, throw me a peace sign. Another person, I'll say, flip me off. Another person, I'll tell them to wave or whatever. I just want to make sure it's a real human being back there, ready to come up and talk and have a decent time with things, and not some game being played. So definitely going to try to do that. Or we definitely will be doing that, but I'm going to try to get that set up pretty soon so we don't have to worry about it. As far as coming up on camera, that's up to you. I don't care. If you want to be on camera, be on camera. If you don't want to be on camera, don't be on camera. It doesn't mean more or less either way to me. I don't care once you come up, verify who you are, and then turn it off, leave it on. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. It to me, I think I've told everybody this plenty of times. I don't go on camera just because there's a lot of times I need to get up, move around, and do something for Lisa. And I think it's when I'm on somebody else's panel, I think it's disrespectful to that person. It's distracting, and it's just me. I don't have any issues with other people and moving around or whatever. It's just the stuff that I've got to do. I don't want to distract, and part two to that, or actually the most important part, is I'm not going to put Lisa on camera ever. It's just not going to happen. So, but as far as cameras go, Bon Jovi, I'm not sure how it works if you don't have a camera. I'm not sure if the system will recognize you coming in without a camera. I don't know how that works. We'd have to ask somebody else, I think. So I kind of have a feeling that it wouldn't. I don't think it would accept it, but I may be wrong with that. It might accept anybody in that situation. So we'd have to look into that, I guess. But yeah, I really do hope that everybody kind of warms up to the idea of coming up, especially the ones that have never had a chance to come up and talk. Um, I hope you guys all take advantage of it because it's a different experience. And I get why some people don't want to. There's lots of stuff out there to think about, but I think a lot of it I think a lot of it comes out with where you're at, the type of panel you're doing, and go from there. Hi, Melody.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. I haven't been live in a while, so I figured I'll come talk to you.
Well, good. Why not? I'm glad you wanted to come in and talk.
I've been sick. I have a
Yeah.
stupid cold right now. Jade brought it home.
Shame on her.
I know.
These kids,
I have to
tell you
look.
what.
How do I see chat?
I don't know, honestly. Not like that. I'm not sure how you see the chat. I do it on a different device. It's just easier for me. Maybe Melody will come back. Maybe not. You never know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never got the hang of seeing the chat in here, other than the comment part, and it just, to me, it's not real comfortable. But Melody, where'd you go?
Right here. I'm right here.
There you are.
It was telling me to log in. I was like, what am I logging into?
No, ignore all that, any of that stuff. As far as reading chat, do you see up on the right side of your screen? You don't have StreamYard, do you?
I do have StreamYard.
You do have StreamYard.
I'm on StreamYard.
Okay,
but I'm not on my StreamYard. I'm on whatever. But I know I found it. It's at the bottom with the 3 dots, and you can do chat comments, and I'm on the comment.
Okay, yeah, because one's private chat, which
Hi,
is
Petty Betty.
backstage, and the other one's what's going on the screen.
Yeah, I got it. I just can't see you or me. Well, I don't see anything but a picture, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, we can all see you.
I have seen you though, because you came on my panel.
Absolutely. Every once in a while, the guy makes an appearance. Takes a special kind of circumstance for me to be able to do that. So, but
well, no, I mean you just showed yourself on my panel, and then you went back to your picture by the time I brought you up. But
right,
yeah,
yeah.
Which your voice is very fitting.
My voice is what?
Fitting? Very fitting.
Oh, to what I look like?
Some people isn't. Like, you'll have a bigger guy and they have this high-pitched voice that does not fit.
Right. Yeah.
Or you'll have a really skinny guy that has a really deep voice, and that doesn't fit either.
It is interesting to put those together. The other night we were talking about barbershop.
Hi, Prairie.
That's one thing that I've found with barbershop is, if you look at 4 guys standing up on a stage singing, and you hear one really deep voice, then you hear a nice high pitched voice, and it's not, and then you realize, wait a minute, it's not the little skinny dude that's singing high, it's that big guy over in the end that's singing high, and the little skinny dude singing bass notes that most people can't read.
The tall, skinny guy that's got the deep voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But your voice does fit your face. Yeah, it does.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So what else is going on with you? What are you doing for New Year's?
Nothing.
Do you watch the
I don't want I used to go to the bars, and I used to do all that crap in my 20s, and now that I'm 48, it's just not worth it. Sometimes I fall asleep before it's even New Year's now anyway.
Yeah.
I think last year I was in bed at like 9 and I was asleep by the time New Year's hit.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I've been up here in the Central Time Zone for um, over 25 years now, and I'm
Yeah.
still not used to. I'm still not used to the New Year's thing because I grew up on in Eastern Time,
Yeah.
and I lived in Eastern Time, until we moved here. So New Year's, it was always Times Square at midnight, and when the ball drops, it's all official. And I guess that's, to me, it's like that's what the country goes by. But then you see all these other, as it goes through the time zones. How
Yeah. We will
how
be
does it?
watching whatever happens in Times Square. We'll be watching it 3 hours later.
Yeah. So they just delay the broadcast basically. And you just
Yeah, it'll say live up there, but it's not live. It's 3 hours later.
3 hours ago. Okay. Yeah, I still haven't got used to
Yeah.
that.
So like when the ball drops at midnight in New York, it's only 9 here.
Right.
So then when it hits midnight our time, the ball will drop again, but not technically, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just
The
never
ball
really,
drops from New York. New York ball drops 3 times in the
right, going
United
across
States.
the country. Yeah, going across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
Yeah.
When you're on the East Coast, you never think about that because
Mm-mm.
when it's midnight, the ball drops. You never have to think about what time it is, or what's going on with
No,
it.
because it's
But
the right time. It's the
it
right
does
time.
it does afford you the one question, if you have family or friends on the East Coast, you can call them up at 11:30 your time, which is already past midnight their time, and just ask them what the New Year's like already, so you're ready for it when it gets there. But
Well, if you have like Dish or DirecTV,
mhm,
you can watch it actually drop at the right time, but it'd just be 9 o'clock our time.
yeah, it's
That
funny,
that's
some of
the
the
cool thing about having satellite.
right. Well, it's funny the way they do some of the local celebrations and stuff, and how they try to time it out and all that. So, but what else? What else
Yeah.
you been doing with yourself? Anything?
I
How
got a
you
really
keeping busy?
cool Christmas present from my dad. And because of his present, I was able to buy everything I possibly could need for my house.
Good for you.
And I
That's
was worried
awesome.
about Jade not having a Christmas, but she ended up having a Christmas because of my dad's Christmas.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice. I'm glad to hear that. That's the way things should work in this world.
Yeah,
You know?
he only has me and my sister to do Christmas for anymore, so because he
Yeah.
doesn't do the grandkids or anything. That was my mom. But
So you're telling me
he
that you didn't give him my name and number and stuff like you were supposed, my address and all the.
so you could be his kid too?
Yeah, why not?
He never had a boy. He had all
Well,
girls.
see there, perfect fit. Let's go. Tell him I'll be waiting for next year.
And my 2 sisters, one of them's passed away now. She had 2 boys, and then the one that's not, she had 1 boy and never had any kids besides that. And then I have 1 girl. So, but yeah,
Nice.
no. The only way that Jade gets Christmas presents from Grandpa is or birthday presents is he gives me the money and says go buy her something. So
Right. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, but I understand that situation and that thought process, because I love my grandson who comes here. I see him quite often, but I still don't really know what he needs or otherwise. Even
yeah,
with toys, I can tell you that I was going to buy him some kind of a turbo racetrack thing that I saw, and I thought, okay, he would love that. But I didn't. I bought him a firehouse thing instead. And then I'm on the phone with my son and him on like a FaceTime thing,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
in the middle of the living room floor is the exact racetrack thing I was going to buy for him. So if I'd have
Good thing you
it,
didn't buy it for him.
yeah. So if I'd have bought that, he would have had 2 of them sitting there. So
Well, he could have made a really big, huge, long racetrack though.
yeah. Well,
No, my dad's
he's been
86,
busy.
so I don't expect him to go into a store and figure out what his 12-year-old granddaughter wants.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's what I do. Lisa and I have done, I don't know for how long, quite a long time now with the kids. We just give them either a Visa card they can use anywhere, or a Walmart card, or some place if we know that they're looking to get something or do something, we'll give them a card there, or and then just let them get whatever works best for them, because
Whatever works for them. Yeah.
well, it's like
Well,
us. I mean,
see,
how do you buy
my
for people that are well established and don't need anything?
I don't buy my dad anything because he tells me not to.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Because he has everything. He doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
But for his birthday, I always buy him dark root beer because he likes bottled root beer. So I buy him bottled root beer for his birthday present. But not for Christmas, because he says it's stupid. He's giving me something, and then I'm going to turn around and use the money he gives me and go buy him something. Why would I do that? But, my dad's 86, so I don't expect him. But I do know this. My last live I was on, and I don't know who was in there with me or not, Jade actually said on live, I didn't think I could buy her anything for Christmas. And she said, Mom, it's not about the presents. It's about spending time with your family. And I don't need any presents. And I was like,
yeah,
where did this 12-year-old come from?
Yeah.
I know when I was 12, I wanted everything. I didn't care.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing, some of the differences now. I mean, I had 5 brothers and sisters, and we didn't have.
I had 6 brothers, and I had 3 brothers and 3 sisters, and I'm the youngest.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a lot of money. We weren't destitute or anything like that. I mean, my dad worked full time and worked hard, and Mom was real thrifty, and we had gardens to raise a lot of food and stuff like that. But Christmas time was it was nice. It was fun, and they did the best they could with it. And then one year, my grandparents gave them, and this was when I was still fairly young, they gave them $2,000 and said, just go wild. And boy, did
wow.
I mean, back then that was a ton of money. They used some of it for
money.
Yeah. They used some of it for a couple things around the house that they needed to do and wanted to do and stuff for them, which is what they were told to do. But all the rest of it went to the kids. And man, the living room was piled floor to ceiling with stuff. And it's just one of those things that, 50 some years later, it still feels like yesterday that happened. So it's always fun to be able to do some of that stuff, and to hear kids say, don't worry about that. That's
well, see, my mom was the type for Christmas, she bought all year round. So by the time that we got to Christmas and she was wrapping all the presents, sometimes she'd forget what she bought for somebody. And so she would think, oh, I didn't buy something. So she'll go buy something else and then find that other thing. So underneath our Christmas tree was always huge, but that's because my mom paid all year round on all the sales that she could possibly get.
Right. Well,
my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, but my dad owned a gas station. He works the gas station. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she was pretty much, they were born in 1939. So they went through the Great Depression.
Right.
Or right after the Great Depression. But my grandmother taught my mom how to can, and she would have tons of canned foods, and she'd still say that we didn't have enough food because of the Great Depression. I don't know what people would have. I don't know what people would do now if they went through the Great Depression, because my mom always taught me, you always make sure you have tons of either you can your stuff or you have canned foods in your house.
Right.
And I have tons of it. So if we go through where food is really scarce, or I even have canned meat. Like right now, the meat's really expensive. Well, I don't have to go buy hamburger and stuff like that. My freezer is full and has been full forever because I always buy more than what I should. And the other thing is, I always make sure you could go into my kitchen and make pretty much anything you wanted to.
Right. Well, I think if people went through the Depression again, it would be tough. It'd be tougher by far now than it was back then. I mean, a million times harder. But it would be a refresher on how you can live without being so dependent on all the commercial stuff that we are so dependent on right now. You know, everything. I mean, back then when the Depression hit, everything was hard, and they didn't have microwaves. You know,
No.
they didn't have refrigerator freezers that kept food forever and all that.
No.
So it wasn't as hard a transition to suffer with nothing because they were closer, you know, to nothing than we are by a long way.
Well, it's like with the shutdown, I didn't have food stamps. Well, I went through I depleted some of my stuff, but I was still good. We could eat pretty much the whole month without worrying about my food stamps because
Right.
I'm always buying extra. I go bulk shopping for meat, and then I go bulk shopping for my staples, and then whatever goodie stuff we want, we get that after everything else is bought.
Yeah. Maureen, I am 39. I had a lot of life experience in those 39 years I can share with people.
That
And
makes him younger than me. That's not right.
there you go. Oh, I am younger now. I'm younger than all of you. Don't even question.
If you're 39, David, I would be in my teens.
Yeah, well,
I'm not in my teens.
let's go back. Let's go back to. There's sometimes I wouldn't mind going back, but there's a lot of times I sure as hell don't want to. Amanda says
I
she's
would
only
like to
6
go
hours
back
from
knowing
school.
what I know now. If I knew what I know, yeah, I would go
Well,
back.
of course.
But if I'm dumb and stupid like I what, nope.
Yeah, that's the secret to life is knowing then what you know now,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't exist.
But I couldn't
so-
be a teen. I don't want to be a teen with almost a teen. I mean, Jade will be 13 next year.
Yeah, it goes fast. I can tell you that.
But
It
she'd
really
always tell
does.
me, Mom, you're an old mom. Mom, you're an old mom. All my friends' moms are in their 30s and you're in your late 40s. Yeah. You should be happy you got raised by my parents were old. They had me when I was 38 and I had Jade when I was 36. So I like my older parents. They taught me a lot.
Yeah, same here. It was amazing how much I learned from both of them. I mean, I was under my dad's feet no matter what he was doing. He did everything himself. He never hired a contractor for anything ever, not once. You know, we had a bunch of land to work on, and he had, you know, tractor and different implements and tools and the time and willpower to do it. And that's just how that was just the natural course of things, you know. So
Yeah.
but and anyhow, I don't know if you heard me say before, Amanda says she's only 6 hours away from 2026 right now.
In New
Way ahead
Zealand,
of us.
yeah.
Yeah. In New Zealand,
Australia and New Zealand, yeah.
yeah,
they're not
only
that
6
far
hours
off.
away. That's just wild. Yeah, definitely, Amanda. Let us know how 2026 is. We'll turn it back.
Kirby's going to hit 2026 before we do too.
Yeah. Yeah, most people do, don't they? We're kind of aren't we sort of toward the tail end of the whole cycle?
Well, Hawaii
timing?
and Alaska are more tail end than me, but I'm
Well,
like
that's us.
almost to
Yeah,
the
but they're-
end tail end.
But they're still us, though. I mean, that's all part of us.
Yeah.
I don't know of any come after. I guess I never paid attention, so I was going to bed.
Well, I don't know. Is Hawaii and Alaska the last of the time zones, or
I think so.
I think they're the only ones that are behind us.
I'm feeling a little stupid
Behind
right now. I
mainland.
can't answer that.
I can't answer it either.
Up here, outhouses were very cold in my time. You know what, Maureen? I got to tell you, out of people my age, I'm one of the few that knew what it was like to use an outhouse. There's not that many in my era that did. It was already, you know, all the indoor plumbing and all that stuff was all handled pretty much by the time we were getting into school and stuff like that. But when we
everybody in my era didn't use outhouses. The only reason why I know about outhouses is because my cousin's farm had an outhouse, so we used outhouse. I hate outhouses, but yes, they get really cold in the winter.
Oh yeah, it's nasty. I mean, when I was
disgusting, and having to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to walk out, and hopefully there's no animals there.
Oh, there's ways
and
around
go
that.
use the outhouse is horrible too.
see, there's ways around that. So that's as much graphic detail as I want to throw out there about the outhouse experiences. But my grandma's cottage, my grandma had a cottage on the Allegheny River that we used to spend a lot of time in the summers and stuff, go up there, and that was outhouse. They didn't have, there was a water pump that came out of the side of the hill that you had to go out and
Yeah.
take the lid off
Yeah.
the barrel and pump the thing, and you have fresh spring water coming right out the side of the hill, and that's how the water source was. And then the bathroom.
It
was
really sucked in the winter when the metal froze and you had to like pry it to get it to go.
right.
I hated that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't have running water yet. I mean, later in my life they got running water, thank God, but not when I was a kid. No. 5 to 6 feet of snow to get there. Jesus. Sorry, Marie.
6 feet of snow.
5 to 6 feet of snow to get to the outhouse.
Yeah, no, not happening.
Nope.
Like I said, there's ways around it. That's the way I'd probably go with that.
But if I was a boy, I would just stand outside and pee in the snow, and I wouldn't go to the outhouse. So
yeah.
But I'm not a boy.
Well, sometimes it didn't matter, but a lot of times it did.
Your job was to take the chamber pot only to pee in, out, and I was 5. One time I dropped it, and my brother got his fishing rod, got it out, and then I had to clean. Okay.
Yeah.
You hit his fishing rod?
I'm gonna guess maybe the fishing rod had a different purpose at that point, but
To whoop her butt?
could be.
My grandparents had an outhouse. They did not get indoor bathrooms till you were 16. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily, like I said, that's the thing, talking about the vaccines and talking about the depression and all that stuff. It's like it seems like this country's lost sight of where it came from.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, we're
where-
in the early
where-
1900s, late 1800s. But
And
not
where-
talking political, but the dude that's in charge of our freaking vaccines and shit did say you don't need to get those vaccines for kids.
Yeah, well, he's an idiot. So,
He is an idiot.
but I really wish people would take a step back and think about what our I don't want to say ancestors, because that just takes it too far back, but our extended families and stuff had to go through in those time periods to get us to where we are today. And they went through so much to make it easier for us. And it just feels like we're stripping a lot of that away right now, going back. That's the one thing that when the focus of the protest stuff was over in DC with the whole 1776 stuff, I literally heard people say, yes, I want to, because people would ask them, what is 1776 all about? And they would say, we want to, they would say they want to go back to that time. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Where you get
guys
polio? Sure, that's where I want to go.
I mean, what they were doing, they would have been, drugged down the streets if they'd have been doing that in 1776. Because first of all,
Yep.
half of them were women, and the women sure didn't have the right to be out in public talking like that and holding up a sign or speaking their voice or anything else. They'd have solved that real quick, and it was such a different world. So, I mean, it's crazy that we're kind of reverting back in some areas back to the struggles. I'll talk political.
That's because people in our day and age, a lot of people have not really looked at history and how history was. So to them, going back in the past would be great. And it's not. Just like vaccinations are there for a reason. I mean, the next thing we're going to have is because people aren't giving the polio vaccination to their kids. We're going to have polio back. We have measles. Next is going to be mumps and polio and chickenpox And I never had chicken pox. I didn't have the chicken pox vaccination. I just never got chicken pox, so I don't have to worry about shingles. Thank God. But
No, but you
my
have to worry about
adopted
chicken,
mom,
right? You can still get chicken pox though. You know that,
no,
right?
I can't. My mom put me in every single chicken pox party you could possibly think of, and I will not
That
get
doesn't
them.
mean
I'm
anything.
immune.
No, you're not immune. I promise you're not. Unless somebody found a secret trigger button for you. If you haven't had it yet, you can still get it.
Yep,
So
we're immune.
beware.
It's weird. But I'm
Um,
glad I don't have to worry about shingles. But my mom, my adopted mom, because my mom's passed away, she had shingles, and oh my God, that stuff is horrible. It looks like they have a 3rd-degree burn on their body, and she says it feels like it.
Yeah, I can tell you the experience I had with people with shingles is it's worse. That's my friend I was talking about before. He was in his early 70s when he got it, and he was a guy that just worked from sun up till sundown and calloused hands and everything else. And the day I saw him cry, basically crying over it, is when I knew what it was all about. So.
Well, yeah, but Prairie, my daughter Jade, now her chicken pox were weird. So she got chicken pox in the front, and they went away. Then she got chicken pox on her leg and her legs and her arms. That went away. Then she got chicken pox on her face, and then that went away. It was really weird. I still didn't get chicken pox. So, and I had to take care of her straight right there.
Well,
I'm a weird. My doctors call me a special flower because the things that people normally don't get, I get. And the things that people normally do get, I don't. Hi, Kelly.
How you doing, Kelly? Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is I'm grateful that I'm not a good carrier of anything, which means
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I don't bring stuff home to Lisa.
Well, I found out recently, you know how I lost my toes?
Right.
The reason why I lost my toes is I got an ulcer on them, and I ended up losing them because of staph and strep, right? I'm a MRSA carrier, so I'm a staph carrier. So whenever I get an owie, I have to go to the hospital and get on antibiotics because it'll automatically go into whatever owie I have.
Right, and
I carry it. It sits on my skin.
That's a tough thing to deal with. That's for sure. Paige,
Yeah,
I don't know. I know he had some medications and stuff that they tried to get for him, but he was pretty much down. I want to say for about a month, where he just didn't leave the house. He didn't do anything. Because
it sounds like he almost should have been hospitalized.
Yeah, he was close to it, especially with his eye, because it was all around his eye. It was on his eyelid, everything else. It luckily didn't impact his eyeball or his optic nerve or anything like that. But everything else around it, the side of his nose, it was crazy. And of course, shingles is only one side. It's split half to half. One half has it, one half doesn't. That's one way they identify it. It only does one side of the systemology at a time.
Yeah, Kelly, my mom put me. Oh, night, Judy. Sleep well. Kelly, my mom put me in chickenpox parties. So when a kid would get chickenpox, all the kids would go over to the house and have a chickenpox party, and I never got them.
Yeah, I had all of those things. I had both. I had 9-day measles. I had mumps. I had chickenpox, and a couple other things that just weren't fun. So
my dad had mumps on one side of his body, and when it went away, he had mumps on the other side of his body. Like my niece, like my daughter and chickenpox. And same thing happened with his measles. He had it on one side of his body, and then when they cleared up, he had it on the other side.
Really? I mean,
yeah, it was. My dad said he was in the most horrible. He was like in the house for like 3 months, and that his brother brought them all home. My dad had chickenpox really bad that went down his throat and everything too.
Well, when we were when we were young, I mean, I had two sisters there was a 6-year gap between them and the rest of us, but everybody was 2 years apart. So when one got something, everybody got something. come on now. Was it something I said? And yeah, it's crazy some of the diseases we're having to deal with now just because some of the stupidity and talk about vaccines and all. It just blows my mind. And when it's black and white, showing what those vaccines did all those decades and get rid of stuff and polio and all of that, and now all that stuff is starting to come back just because of a stupid narrative. I realize people pay attention to stuff and they question everything, and that's fine. Everybody should question everything, but when something's real and it works and it's proven over so many years, it just doesn't make sense to say no to something that's going to prevent your kid from going through what they'll go through, or grandkids now. And I'm not sure which is harder, watching your kid go through something or watching your grandkid go through it. I think it's equally as helpless both ways. That's where she had was marrying your husband. Come on, Maureen. Let it all out. Yeah, Kelly, in some ways they are, no doubt about it. I mean, there's arguments to be had for all the political stuff, and um, we'll end up having political discussions on this channel too. By the way, I've not shied away from political discussions very often, but right now we're just not really at that point. We've got some other more important stuff to deal with. Overall, but the whole right and left thing and all that. I mean, I've made it pretty clear, where I stand on a lot of stuff, and which side of the aisle I come from. But I have a lot of people, all my life actually, I've had a lot of people that were conservative Republicans, and I mean, I've had lots of conversations with them. I kind of miss it, to be honest. I mean, it used to be some of the best debates and conversations I ever had was over politics and somebody on the other side of the aisle, and it was always great. But a lot of it now, especially like where I'm at up here, it's there's a lot of extreme positions, and hard to
Well, you know
talk
where
about.
I stand.
Well, you're sitting right now. If you
No,
stay
I
there,
mean, as
Did you
far
see-
as politics go, you know where I
know.
stand.
I know I'm messing with you. What happened? Did you just drop, or did you hit a wrong button, or what?
I meant to go back. I meant to take the comments off and put not my face, because I had to go to the bathroom and I accidentally
Oh.
got out of the whole thing.
Well, you don't need to take us to the bathroom anyway, so that's good. I'm glad you got
No,
out
I
there.
wasn't going to. I was gonna put so you didn't see my house. I was going and whatever, and I was just gonna get up and go to the bathroom. But
Wow.
I know Canada's in a mess too. I've been hearing that from my Canadian friends.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on all over the world that's not the way it used to be, and I'm a big proponent for change and doing things differently. If you find a better way, come together and do it. But
My honest opinion is we need to have a younger president like
Wouldn't hurt.
JFK, and not all these old fogies that think they're stuck in some freaking past that I don't even know what past they're stuck in anymore. We need to have a young, fresh set of eyes that can come in here and reform the government without being stuck in the past.
Well, I think that's a good point, and I agree with it because we've got, and this is non-political or non-partisan. We need to have limitations on who serves in this government, because when people are older than dirt, they don't need to be telling me or anybody else what to do or how to do it. because they're not going to be up to speed on,
No,
you know,
and
just like
President
right
Trump.
now, the technology we deal with. You know, Lisa and I used to be really good at computers and stuff, and I've been away for 10 years, 12 years, and now I'm back into it, and it's a really steep learning curve for me right now, which is crazy to even think that that's the way it is, but that's the
But
way
you're
it is.
learning it.
And it's just, yeah, but it's the same thing with I think with politics, that you need to have people that are sharp and quick and knowledgeable and understand the here and now, and understand, you know, what things are going to be in 30 years when all these people that are leading right now are going to be
Well,
dead.
I also don't think it's right that if you have a crooked president, they can't be arrested. When did that
Well-
come into play?
Well, just recently. That's not actually the way it is. I mean, it can be. It's just that, you know, there's powers that prevent that from happening. That's
No,
the
if
other
you look into the
problem.
presidency, you cannot be arrested as president until you're no longer president.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but there's a lot of ways to handle things that aren't getting handled the way they should be, and that's just part of our
Yeah.
system. Our system is broken. It's been broken for a long time. You know, but
That's
the
why
answer,
we need a younger generation to
Yeah.
come in here and redo it, not somebody who's my dad's age. And President Trump keeps saying this bullshit about freaking Biden, but President Trump is the same age as Biden was when Biden was in office.
right? Well,
He's 4 years younger than Biden. So he is 4 years the same age Biden was when Biden was in office. He's stupid. And why did he get to be? That's the other thing. We need to put in the Constitution that our president cannot be a convicted felon.
there's a lot of things our Constitution needs a little tidying up on anyway. And again,
Yeah,
that
but
goes
I mean,
on to-
you would think that would be in there and it wasn't. So you can be a convicted felon and be president.
Yeah,
That
but
sounds
Melody-
like a great person.
But Melody, it's a real simple situation to look at. It's the fact that the people that make those rules and those laws are the ones that are in there that a lot of them need protections. So there's not a whole lot more we can do overnight, but I just think a refresher and getting back to, you know, what's important for the country and all the people in this country, as opposed to which party you are. It used to be
Kelly, he has Somersets, which is when you get older, you don't sleep all night long and you're usually sleeping during the day. The man does not sleep hardly at all, and you can tell that by his social media accounts and when he's posting. He has Somersets where he's up all night and he wants to sleep during the day. That's why he's falling asleep during cabinet meetings.
Well, I can just say this. I haven't watched or listened to him in quite a while. It's been, I can't even tell you how long. It's been at least 2-3 months, if not longer, give or take. And I actually saw, what was he doing? Oh, he was having a press conference, and from not seeing that person for that long to seeing him today, there's a massive difference. It's kind of like when you run into a friend you haven't seen for a couple of years and they got thinner or they got heavier, you know, or they got gray hair now and they didn't before. And, you know, the difference is if you see them every day, you don't really notice it. But when you're not around them for a while, you do notice those changes.
Did you notice that his right side of his mouth is drooping?
No, I did not, because I don't pay that close attention to what he's saying.
Okay, it's drooping because about 3 months ago he had a stroke that nobody wants to talk about. But if you look at his face and how fast he is declining, that would tell me straight up. That's what I dealt with stroke patients.
Right. Well, to be honest, I'm not looking to get into stuff like that on this channel, first of all, unless it's
okay, we'll get over it.
Well, unless it's an absolute thing that is proven out and everything else, because there's so much crap out there that people are speculating on and making assumptions on. I don't know if he did or didn't have a stroke. I don't know if there's an official record. There's probably not, knowing the circumstances, but you know, it doesn't do any of us any good to go there. And, you know, like, for example, as far as talking about stuff, I think people are aware that myself and Direwolf are on opposite ends of the political spectrum. We have a lot of different opinions about things, but he and I can talk for 2 hours about politics, and it's actually talking. It's so refreshing to debate, and I hear him out, he hears me out, and sometimes it's easy to meet in the middle somewhere, or to realize that, oh, wait a minute, I wasn't thinking that. I didn't realize that you were thinking that. I didn't realize that's what your position was, or the party's position was, and go back and forth with stuff. That doesn't happen a lot these days, and it needs to happen more. People need to.
Well, me and my niece is a Republican. I'm a no party. I choose presidents on what I think who should be president, not by parties. But me and my niece, when Trump first got elected, the first time we couldn't talk. The second time at the beginning, we couldn't talk. And now she's starting to realize, oh, and so we can talk about things now. And I said, the difference is, and my dad too, I said, you guys are Republicans, you're not MAGA. There is a difference between those people.
Yeah, that's obvious, and they've made sure that everybody knows that there is a difference. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, to be honest with you, because in the end, it matters the way, unless our government structure gets completely changed, it makes a difference. So Petty Betty, I don't know. I'll talk to Direwolf, have him come up here. I don't know if he wants to do that on a public forum or keep it on a phone call or otherwise, but I wouldn't have a big problem with that. It would be interesting, because we talk about a lot of stuff and a lot of topics and policies and actions and who's doing what and how we view those things.
Well, Direwolf is a very smart man. You can tell that.
Yeah, he definitely is.
And you're a very smart man. So just listening to your guys' view on stuff is awesome. It would be awesome to listen to.
I think there's a lot of smart people out there. I mean, some of the people, in my opinion,
David B. for president.
Lost sight of things. Yeah, right. I'm too old. I promise you, I'm too old.
You're not too old. No, you're younger by a lot than the other people.
Yeah, but we just talked about getting young blood in there, and I'm not young blood anymore, so not me.
Well, you're maybe younger 30, than what's in there now.
Maybe 30, yeah, but that's not really relative right now.
I would think what would be good is between 38 and 43.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't know that we need to set an age to it, but we need to set an upper limit to it.
Well, you can't be president until you're 35.
Right. And
that is the rule.
Fine. I can say right now, there's been candidates that I would support that were real close to just getting in to be able to run. And I've supported them. But the thing is it just isn't just the president. I think it has to be government wide. You can't have people that are in their 90s running our show. Because
we need younger congressmen too. There needs to be a limit on how long you can run for Congress.
Yeah, and there's a lot of changes I think that would be really beneficial for the people of this country, be beneficial for the country itself, and it would make a big difference. But we need to get back to the focus on those things as opposed to the petty shit that we deal with, and and also the corruption levels and everything else. I mean, when you've got somebody that comes into Congress and then goes to the Senate, and they're worth $50,000 to $100,000 in assets when they get elected, and then when they leave, they're worth $35 million. There's something wrong with that system, and that is again nonpartisan. There's so much of this that if we could get rid of the partisanship stuff, because for every time somebody talks about, Chuck Grassley, I say, yeah, exactly. And, the senator from California that we just lost, was, on the other side of the aisle, exactly the same thing. Right now, watching McConnell still there. That's painful to watch. On a human level, that's hard to watch. And I don't care if they're Republican, MAGA, or Democrat, or ultra progressive. I don't care. It's just that should be hard for everybody to watch.
I was happy to see what's her face
not.
retire, whatever her name is.
Who? Do you know?
She was the speaker of the whatever
Pelosi?
Republican. Pelosi.
Pelosi was she's still around there. Are you talking about Stefanik on a Republican side?
I don't know. One of them retired that was really old and it should have retired a while ago.
Oh, no, it's not Stefanik. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure who that would be. There's a bunch of them that way, though. And like I said, I think we'd be in better shape if we didn't have that. And I mean, I could talk about this stuff for hours and hours and hours.
Days.
What?
Days. You could talk about it for days.
Oh, I could talk about it for days. I've talked about it for 10 years.
I know. We have our Congress. I don't know. Wyden
Right.
for Oregon. He's getting up there in age, and he needs to be replaced soon too.
Yeah. Well, they all do. Like I said,
Ron Wyden. I don't remember what he's for. If Congress, or I think he's a congressman.
Once people reach a certain age, and I think the same thing about driving. I don't think there should be a 90-year-old driver on any of our roads anywhere. Just take a seat in the passenger side and let somebody chauffeur you around.
What if you don't have that option though?
Well, then you figure out a different option. But
I don't think my dad should be driving at 86 either. He's got a cataract in one eye and he's blind in the other.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't be. My mom's not driving anymore. We basically took the keys away from her because.
But my dad also works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week still too, though.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there are exceptions to everything out there, but we need to have some standards put in place that keep the rest of the world and safe. And
for Melody to sit up there and be judged someone's health wise, or for her to degrade Republicans, sure didn't mind begging for money from us when she needed food.
Okay, I'll take that one. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Seriously, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? And what's the need to have something stupid like that put in this chat? I mean, are you a hardcore Republican? You don't like people talking about Republicans? That's why you're talking about degrading Republicans? I haven't heard of really degrading anyone.
I didn't degrade any party.
Yeah, I got this, Melody. I haven't heard degrade anyone. She's talked down about the Republican Party because that's how she feels about it. But for you to come in here right now in this chat and talk about her judging people based on her begging for money from us when she needed food, what the fuck does that even mean? Seriously, what does it mean? Try to explain it before I kick you out. I'd love to hear the response to that. See, it's shit like this. I promise everyone, I will never have shit like this in my chat. I just will not stand for it. It's rude. It's uncalled for. It's ignorant. Has nothing to do with really what we were just talking about. And to go on a personal attack like that, do it elsewhere. Gonna respond or no? I'm delaying just a minute here to let you respond. And if you think I'm an asshole for that, I'm glad of that. You got about 10 seconds to respond. Yeah, I removed the comment, and if I don't know if there's any more mods in here, but you kind of know where I stand on that one now, so have at it. Anyhow,
I don't know if there is any mods in here right now.
no.
But I wasn't I was putting around down Democrats just as much as I was putting down freaking Republicans. Ron Wyden is a Democrat.
Right. Yeah, I get all that. I don't want to give him any more energy. I think I made it clear where we stand with that. So just chat. Don't put stupid shit in here, and don't be hurtful to people.
I'm
Just
not
for
upset, Kelly. It's okay. Thank you for the hug, though. I'm used to these people saying shit like this to me all the time. They come into my chat and say shit to me.
Yeah.
So big deal. One day I had a problem. I had no food. I needed help.
Yeah,
I asked
absolutely.
for help. I wasn't grifting for money. I wasn't begging. I asked one time.
Yeah, and don't worry about it. You know, that's beyond what is their business anyway, to be honest. And everybody here understands, and everybody here supports a lot of people, you included. So, you know, yeah, I think Petty's right. Sometimes twat is an applicable term. I don't typically use it very much myself, but I think it fits. Male or female, I don't care who you are. But anyhow, yeah, I think as far as the structure of our government needs changed, it needs some addressing, you know, before things get too out of control. And it's a very wide and broad thing that's not going to get fixed overnight. So
it needs to be reformed. We need reform. It needs to be reformed.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things need reform, but the one thing I'll say that a lot of people on the left don't say enough of is this isn't just a Trump problem. This isn't just that. This stuff has been building.
No, it's a government problem
for about 30 years.
It's a government problem. Yeah.
It's something that people have lost sight of, and I put it in the same category as the way we live right now and going through the stuff we're going through, compared to what the people that were Depression era people that taught us everything they went through and how to cope and how to deal with it and how to adjust and adapt and be creative and everything. I think we've lost sight of a lot of those things when it applies to government. You know, it could be so much better and so much more efficient and do what it's supposed to do and not do the shit that it's not supposed to do. So I think it's a valid thing. But,
yeah.
And yeah, Kelly, I agree. We all need help every once in a while. There's no doubt about it. So.
Well, and you guys also have to understand with the stuff that Scotty's been saying and the stuff that has been brought to light by other people, I already know people are after me, and I don't care. The people that are after me, I could care less about. So they can do what they want to do with what they have and try and get to me, because you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said earlier on. I don't know if you heard that part or not, but I said, hey, they want to come after somebody. They want to talk about somebody. They want to act on somebody. They want to focus on somebody. Do it to me. Focus on me. I'm fine with that. I can handle it. Hope they can handle it back and just go from there. You know.
Well, I mean, everybody has a cow. Everybody's having a cow because I said I'd take a bullet for Scotty, and because I showed Scotty I gave Scotty things that were being said about him that I thought was untrue.
Right.
And now I have the whole other side after me, not just the bad side, but the other side.
Well, we don't have to rehash all that stuff. Everybody's aware of it. And
no,
they can deal with it if they want.
Why I don't.
I know, but you.
Someone's saying that I don't take offense to it.
Right. Well, you should not have to keep dwelling on that stuff either, because other people are. Is my point.
I'm not dwelling on it though. I don't care.
Well, it's something that,
like,
again, it's in the past now, and everything. The actions and reactions are what they are, And
Yep.
when people have to come in and bring stupid shit up, then they're going to look stupid. I mean, that's all there is to it. You do stupid stuff, people are going to think you're stupid. Hot Mama, am I the only one here that has a hard time hearing David? Is anybody else having a hard time hearing me?
No, you're loud to me.
Anybody? I'm going to try using my earbuds as far as doing this too, and see if that stabilizes it, because I know there's a lot of stuff built into these laptops and stuff that make automatic adjustments, and I don't know where they're at, like the echo cancellation. That makes a massive impact on the stream.
Hey, Ellie.
Depending on what it is. I'm not sure, Hot Mama, what's going on with that. I'm glad you're here, though. It's cool to see you here. Maybe go out and come back in. Take your finger off the speaker so you can hear it better. I did not. Just so everybody knows, I'm not. That there was nothing intended in that. The reason I said it is because right now, swear to God, me and my siblings are having an issue with my mom, who is in a therapy center right now, being able to talk to her on the phone, because what's happening is my brother got her a different phone to have at that facility so we could call, and the volume button is exactly where she holds the phone, where her thumb hits, and she keeps turning the volume off on her down on her phone. The last conversation I had with her a couple days ago, the last 5 minutes of the conversation was only her, because she couldn't hear a word I was saying. So that's where that comes from. Just so everybody knows.
I have a habit of putting my finger over my speaker.
Yeah.
And it's at the bottom. So every once in a while, and then I can't hear very well, because I'm on my phone. I'm not on a computer. So
right. But Hot Mama, if you continue to have the problem, let me know. We'll try and figure it out, because I certainly want you to be able to hear everything. We're just glad you're here.
My ancestry from Ireland were royalty, and I can trace everybody back. So I would be able to go to Ireland.
Are you reading that, or are you saying that?
No, Kelly says she wishes she had enough money to move to Ireland. She'd like to find out if her grandparents or great-grandparents were born in Ireland. Then they would let her stay, supposedly.
Let you in. Okay, gotcha. I missed that.
And I said, I have ancestry that's from Ireland. And that's why Rosie O'Donnell could move to Ireland, because her grandparents were born in Ireland.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting around a few different countries and seeing what they're all about. Some of them are just so intriguing. Ireland and Scotland and a lot of the UK and stuff, and a lot of Europe.
That's what I want to do. I want to do a European tour, and I want to start in England, and I want to go to Cardiff, on the Scotland border, because that's where Doctor Who was filmed, and they still have Daleks and Cybermen in the grounds there. And then I want to go to Scotland, and then I want to go to Ireland, and then I also want to go to Denmark.
There you go. Here's one for
No,
you.
don't fuck with me. Mine are Scots and married into the Irish royalty. I have documents to. Whoa, maybe we're related, Petty Betty.
I'm
not fucking with you.
I have ancestry that goes into pretty deep into Scotland. I know that for a fact. I don't know about Ireland though.
Well, definitely. You might, because a lot of the Scottish people went to Ireland during the clan wars.
Right.
Nice, Prairie. Yes, I'm a Doctor Who fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, who isn't?
Well, I'm not right now, because I don't think Doctor Who should have been able to change genders, but whatever.
Whatever. Anyhow. Well, hey, I'm I think I'm going to get off here pretty quick. I got a couple things I got to do. It's starting to get a little bit later, and also just the schedule of things that I have to do.
Well,
here.
give Lisa my love, and I hope she's feeling better.
Yeah, well, she's doing okay. She's going through it. I mean, the winter's tough. When the furnace is running, everything dries out. It impacts her quite a bit. And the
You need
atmospheric
to go get
changes.
you need to go get an infuser. It puts water back into the thing, and
I
use essential oils.
Yeah, I have 7 of those.
Okay,
I also
then.
have a whole house humidifier and a bunch of other stuff too. So do what we can, but sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But anyhow, yeah. If I don't get on or see you guys out there, have a good New Year. Be safe, and don't be too crazy out there. But unless you want to, and then just go wild.
I'm gonna message you in a minute, David. I got to tell you something that I think.
Okay. You can tell me what you think.
I will.
Anyhow, that's Prairie. That's what I hope for. I mean, we can have intense discussions. We can have really deep back and forth and everything else, but civility is pretty important to me. And all the things that should matter to people, I try to have them matter to me as much as I can. And when I'm dealing with people that don't deal with that, then I can throw it out the window.
Safe place.
Yeah. Well, I hope it is. I don't want to call it a safe place because I have a little different feelings about that, but I think that
no, I mean, like, people can talk about how they're feeling and they're not going to be degraded because of how they feel.
Yeah, or what they say. And I won't be doing that.
As long as it's not attacking. No attack.
Yeah, I won't be doing that, and I don't want anybody coming in here doing it on somebody else either. So anyhow. Hey, I appreciate you guys all coming over and stopping in and chatting, and Melody, thanks for coming up and talking. It was nice to catch up a little bit of talk time with you. It's been a while. And,
it's been a while.
Have a good New Year's, and if you want to go out and get sloshed up drunk, do it, but just don't drive a car or vehicle while you do it, and be careful when you're out running around. And it's down to 9 degrees here now, so if you're in a upper climate, northern climate, be real careful out there. It's enough to hurt you. So be aware and have a good New Year's. And I will definitely see you guys next year, if not before. So
bye.
Yeah. Good night, Melody. Appreciate it.
Night, David. I'm gonna text you. So I'll text you in a minute. Okay.
Sounds good. See y'all later. Have a good night.